lift that a little bit more with the turnbuckle if I need to. All right, Friday morning here. Had a couple things to do before I got here. A little bit of a late start, and I stopped to fix that gate down there as well. I could stay working on that other side, but I kind of feel like I want a progress win for myself here. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and set all the purlins on this side, kind of while I'm in the swing of that, instead of staying over there to wrap up the sheeting. I think I'm gonna move over here. I have most of them pre-cut. I had kind of started culling through a bunch of them, so I'm gonna be short for this side because the layout changed as well. So I'll probably dig into that pile and I'll get a count and cut out everything I need with as much quality ones as I can. The ones that I'm culling will probably still work for studs in the framing in here. I'm going to use those instead of like a double 2x6 in areas. They're not every 16 inches. They're more like every 4 feet or something. So let's see. I've got a phone meeting at 9, I believe. I got to check my email. So instead of getting set up on the roof right away, I'm probably just going to try to compress all the layout and cutting of these into the amount of time I have before that meeting, and then have the meeting, have some coffee, and start setting purlins. I don't know if I'll get the barges trimmed out, but it sure would look good. It's supposed to get hotter today, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, we need 6 of the 12s and 7 of the 14s. Also need 2 more of each of those, but that I may cut and we'll leave them down here because they're for the fascia row that I'm not going to bother stacking on here because it'll just be in the way. I'm not putting it on until the siding's done. All right, that's all ready. I'm going to go get the crane set up and come back after that meeting.
Hang on, little one. I'm gonna roll you down. Come on. You can get out. Try harder. You're almost there. I can't reach. I got something in my hand here. Let's see. Put this down so I don't spill it. Come on, dude. There you go. He's out.
Just bullseyed a piece of the base rock or something. Okay, that's 2 bays, lunchtime, or close enough. Grab something to eat. Looks like I'll probably get those up and trimmed. Anyway, not sure if I'll get them blocked, but we'll see how far I get. You can see I got the double out near the tip. That is because the top two are close spaced and there's the purlin on the other side that's interfering. So I just dumped both of those behind the top screws and then lower down and out to set that other one. So now for this one, because we don't want to knock anything off, and they're higher anyway, we'll go up higher than the ridge. Now the crane is centered right on the ridge line of this, more or less. Start and stop the trolley in the hopes of little swing control. That's about it there, and we'll swing out a little bit now because we got to grab them. That'll give me room. That's not enough. Wait till it swings back, so reinitiate. There we go. All right, now I can run up there. All right, the bummer for the day is we've got 5 purlins to go, and I pulled out the screw to use it in a purlin, and it was actually holding this thing to a purlin. And I dropped it. The battery popped out. No big deal. Put the battery in, fired it up. The slew works. The trolley works. That's one control on the left side. The buzzer works. The on-off switch works. The winch does not work. Up or down. We're going to take it apart, see if it's a wire, if it's solid state, if it's electronic, if it's a module. We're just going to look. Maybe it's something silly. We hope it's something silly. Either way, took a good fall. All right, I'll show you where we're at. Took this thing all apart. I unplugged that main harness so I could separate it from that. And I can pull that off again so that I can separate the two halves. I was looking at micro switches just in case there was like a special code that one had to be flicked a certain way or not. And then I got to looking. Let's see here. So we have a plug receptacle here. We have this one here, and there's on this switch here, you can see a cable tie wrapping around it, holding this plug into place. And so I kind of focused on that and looked at it, and one side of this was kind of bumped out. My hope when I dug in here was that the thing hit hard enough that it dislodged it. And so I got kind of excited when I saw that was just kind of out a little bit because it wasn't a very good snap in. So that was out. So I plugged it back in, tried it. It did not work. And then I got to look and I'm like, well, what would this side be for? If this thing was like a two-way joystick, this would be for the other function. But I'm like, well, do they control the same thing? Can I just swap this plug? And so then I clipped out that cable tie and the entire circuit board popped out with it. And I looked at this one and you can see it's latched in. And in the end, this circuit board had come dislodged itself with the switch and wire attached to it. So I plugged it all back in and it works. So we're going back to work. All right, just back from fixing the remote. I'm gonna real time the last bit of this. What the heck? No, I got no slew left function. Back to the drawing board. Okay, minor disappointment. I did not get that sorted out. I'm gonna take the box home tonight like I always do, and I will go through it and see if there's anything else glaring. I went back through it 3 or 4 more times, did not see anything. Would probably be better to do it at a sit-down workbench. And if I see something that looks like it could be it, I'll come back up tomorrow and Saturday and see if I can get it working. But as it sits now, it's pretty much parked. The only thing I haven't done is square it up with the base, but I may do that before I leave, just in case I bugger something else up. At least that way I could swap it over to the hydraulics, derect it, and haul it off if I have to. All right, here's where we're at. I'm up here kind of on a Hail Mary today with this. It's kind of typical. I really can't let stuff rest. If it's broken, I need to know that I've exhausted all the things I can do to fix it, all the options. and then that way I can proceed to the next step. And if I have to get to ordering like a replacement or a new setup, anyway, I can get into that in a little bit, but that's more time out than I'd like on the project. And I'll show you where I'm at. So I'm gonna film what I got going kind of from 2 cameras, see what I get out of it. This is the orientation. I colored this one green because I'm going to be ending up pulling this other one back out. So the orientation here, here's where we're at. This is trolley out, trolley in, swing left with your back to the crane, swing left, and swing right. And this is the function that does not work right now. So swing or slew. So that is this micro switch. I thought initially yesterday that I thought these were connected somehow, these little switches. I don't know if you can see that. But there's these little, I think it's just it's a spring for the detent on this. These switches are kind of a sealed unit. They don't come apart. They're assembled. That's that. Upon further examination this morning, I can pop these circuit boards out, and when I looked at it this morning, everything's the same. They're all the same, and it's only a matter of which ones they use and whether or not they're locked out. So this one here only works this way. It does not work this way. I don't know if there's a lockout in there. I haven't examined that yet, but I'll get to that in a minute. So since this board is the same and this board is the same and both functions on this one work, can then pop that out. So there's the, I guess this would be the potentiometer. There's, I don't know, 8 fingers there and spots for that, for each one to contact. So I thought, well, maybe I'll come back out and try again just by swapping these boards here. Maybe there's a broken wire in here from the impact. I don't know. There's no real reason. I have to eliminate it as a potential problem before I can go any further, because so when the thing dropped, before the thing dropped, everything worked. Everything was off when it dropped. The battery came out. I don't think there was a short circuit anywhere. There's going to be some sort of broken wire is probably what it's going to end up being. So I was like, well, I'll just come out and I'll swap these two to see if the problem, changes hands, so to speak. But then I got to looking at it and I realized that this switch here, since it's just winch up and winch down, it's only using one direction. But these switches are the same and the circuit board are the same, and it has a circuit board installed there. So I don't even think I have to, that's not hooked up to anything. It's not plugged into the control box. So I think what I can do without much effort is just pull back on these 2 little tabs with my fingernails and then pry up on it to remove that, which I can then replace in the faulty location. That goes into place. I can then rehook this one. The green goes to the green. Let's winch up and down. Let's trolley out, trolley in. Wait, what the hell is on fire here? Is that smoke? What the hell was that?
Oh man. I wonder if there was some hot coals in the ground and that thing lit itself off. Crazy. Okay, false alarm.
All right, I got nothing to the left. Something else is wrong. I got right swing. I got no left swing. Keep digging, Jake. Keep digging.
I found the difference. This is the slew and trolley travel, and this is the one direction. But if you look here, it was staring me right in the face. There's no, you can see all the workings in here, and this way you can only see them in here. But there's a directional arrow on that. So this plate essentially just lifts out. So what I'm going to do next is pull this plate out, replace the circuit board potentiometer that I borrowed from it, reinstall it in the on the left control, and see if it affects anything. And that way we know we've eliminated anything that's, I guess, solid state, and it's going to be some other broken wire somewhere in the sending portion of the machine that I probably won't be able to do anything about. All right, let me swap these over. Cup holder.
Lift that out. And that's our good one. That's going back here. Okay. The only one that matters is this. That's nothing. That works. Okay. So we've eliminated any possibility that it has anything to do with a physical, mechanical switch or circuit board here. I've eliminated all of that. I'm gonna put everything back together the way it was, with the exception of that one circuit board, assuming that that's all good, and then reassess everything. Okay, no love here on this. I even took apart the little board in the bottom that's kind of ganged together, unplugged it, looked for broken wires, just in the odd hope that there was something glaringly out of place. Didn't see anything. So I guess next step is I'll either call the company I bought the thing from or just track down another, I'm a pretty well known for just replacing parts when, just in the hopes that it fixes things. But I think I'll call in the pros on this one. And if it looks like it's an extremely expensive unit, I may just upgrade everything at this point to like another receiver and transmitter unit, but a much smaller one. Something I could just wear in a little lanyard on my chest harness. It would be simpler for me to crawl around with that. So we'll see what goes, we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a chance I can use this receiver and just pair it with a smaller transmitter, but I got to call the pros to figure that out. Or maybe just maybe it'll become clear just reading the internet tonight on that, but we'll figure it out. Either way, I got to get it working. Okay, Sunday evening, here's where we're at. I'm still kind of after this thing. This function here is the function in question, and this, I'm moving the joystick, the top of the joystick to the left, which swings the crane to the left, and that activates that side of the card. And when I move it this way, it swings the joystick to the right, it swings the contacts that way. So there's 4 blue wires here, plus the 2, I guess let's just call them control wires. They're going to be power, you know, some sort of interruption there, and a ground probably. So the 2, just using logical reasoning here, the 2 left ones would be the further part of the arc. So that would be, you know, that side. So the 2 closer ones are the ones I'm guessing that is going to be it. But it's going to be one of those 4 blue wires is probably going to be the ones with the problem in it. So I can trace those out to a pin position on this, because this is what plugs into the lower part of the transmitter unit. So the plug that this goes into, the plug that goes into, there's 2 boards sandwiched together. This would be, this is the board. This is the board that takes the input from the mechanical control. So I guess it would be an interface board, and then sends it to the transmitter board, which then goes to receiver on the crane and turns it into, you know, back into a physical action. So I really hope it's not this, because I don't understand this thing at all. But this other one is basically just, you know, wire tracing and everything. So in any case, I have, let's see if I can zoom in enough for you to see it. I don't know, but from memory of what I've been working on, there's the 4 blue wires are the 6th pin here, the 10th and 11th pin on this lower row, and then the 7th pin on this upper row. And so it's the 6 and the 7 that were the 2 right hand side of here. That's 6 and 7. And so then from here, this goes through the board doing whatever it does, and then comes out these into this pin block here. It's another 18 pin connector, and that in turn plugs into this side here, which goes, you know, to the transmitter. So this is the back side of that. So from here, what I've done, long story short, is the number 6 wire has no ohms on it. There's no reading. There's no continuity from here to here, although the 7 wire, as well as the 10 and 11 wire, all have ohm readings all the way through that. And I could show you on the camera, but I think it's probably more work to set it up. I may give it a try here in a second. But so in any case, my neighbor, my Intel neighbor, gets home tomorrow, and we may take a crack at repairing this. I know I can buy this board, but it's a matter of time. If it's something simple that he can see through one of his microscopes and oscilloscopes, then I know it's bad at this point, so it's worth repairing. They're not super expensive. I think they're about 160 euro in Europe, minus shipping to get it here. I don't know if I can find one locally. I can find them online, but you know, one way or the other, if we could pull off a fix here, that would be great. I don't know, however, he'll have more experience tracing these circuits through these diodes or whatever they are, whatever they're doing there, if in fact that circuit goes through. But as far as I can tell, the pathway goes in one side, comes out the other, and it's at that plug. So that's what we're working with now. That's where we're at Sunday night. All right, I'm just gonna watch the ohm meter there. So I'm going to go through my map here on the ones I know have continuity. So the 7th pin on this outer row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can go there, and I know it's the 9th pin on this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should have continuity there. Okay, so then we skip to the other side and we go to pin. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, pin 10, and this says pin 6 from the left of the back row. Is that right? Pin 6 from right on the back row. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should have continuity there. And then pin 11 is pin 5 from right on the back row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have continuity there. So then the one in question, which was the pair to 7, so 6 and 7, is a 6-pin bottom row, 2, 4, 6. And I can go all through any of these. I'm just going to go through them so I can check it on the video. But just to double check, I'm almost sure that there's no continuity to any one of these. Okay, that was that. And what I'm going to do on here is stop that. We'll open that. Open that, hit play. And there's nothing. All right, that's confirmed at this point. Okay. All right, no luck on the crane, but I've got a new card coming. Just ordered that particular card that I tried to repair. There must be some pathway in there that I can't see because of the layers. So they're going to contact me. It's a place in the Netherlands. They're going to contact me as far as payment. So I'll just watch my email. It's about quitting time over there, so I probably won't expect anything until tomorrow. I'm going to clean up right now, just sort of warm up. I've still got 5 of these to set the hard way. I'm glad they're the longer ones because it makes it a little simpler. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to clean up to warm up and shoot for getting this side blocked and ready to cover, and then work on the siding. So we'll just keep going. I don't need the crane a whole lot for that, so it's probably a good point in the job for that to happen if it was going to happen. Moving a little stiff. I pulled a muscle kind of in the back of my left leg. I stepped in a mountain beaver hole on my property yesterday. They're kind of a destructive little woodland creature. They dig burrows and tunnels under, loose, they dig into the roots of trees, and they dig kind of in loose ground where there's a lot of overbrush and stuff. And what they do is they dig these living rooms where they have a main entry, like a foyer, and then they branch off with their little tunnels and stuff. And I was going downhill and stepped right into one and stretched my leg out real bad trying to recover. I didn't fall. I probably should have. Anyway, I'm a little stiff this morning, so if you see me limping around, that's why. Get out there. I'm gonna go make a minor adjustment on the forklift.
Okay, that everything's back on the lift. That's this side, upper part wrapped up. These subfascias are run long, of course, to catch the subfascia purlin, or the purlin out here that becomes a subfascia. It's pretty close to lunch. I'm gonna go down, take everything down with me to reset that cart for siding, put a couple windows on it, and I'm probably gonna start move all the siding stuff over here, the siding and the chop saw and the scrap bin, to set up and catch this side up here next. We'll try to do that. We'll start that tomorrow. Should go a lot quicker than the other side because that's the side that we made all the decisions on. So should work out real good. I'll be back.
All right, I got another window down there. Just kind of moving along. Put you on time lapse. It's kind of hot out here. It's sort of hard to film. So both ends of these bats get a bevel on them. The top end is 40 degrees and the bottom end is about 20. So we're going to break everything down into 4-footers because they're about 43, 44 inches, something like that. And we'll get them all broke down. And then it's easier to handle them and we can work them end by end from there. All right, sun's getting up over that hill with a little heat this morning. It's supposed to be 100 or so. Not gonna like that. I'm gonna try to get these bats on and get this all dialed in and done. Get the lower purlin on, and then go down and do stuff that's under the roof. I'm not gonna try to. I may stage some material to start getting this thing covered. Or maybe get some stuff pre-cut. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll pre-cut a bunch of stuff to do one side. But I have another place to be this afternoon and tomorrow, so I'm just gonna try to get this stuff on and wrap up the week here, even though it's a short week. All right, back at it. That sun's really starting to cook out here, so I don't know. I'm gonna get my measurements for the different breaks on the sheeting. This is 18 feet. The rafter's 18 feet. I don't know exactly what this is gonna be, but I'm in any case, I'm gonna have to stagger the decking on that. So there'll be two sizes for each run. I may or may not cut that. I may just stay out of the sun and put on braces in the lean-tos, the outer lean-tos. But either way, I'm gonna get these measurements so I don't have to come back up here. Yeah. All right, so it's gonna have to be there. So that's 151 and 69.4. 151, 69.4. So looks like I can get these out of 14s and then 3 of these out of each 14s, and that might be a good break set, 3 at a time. And then this one here is out of a 14, but the 69.4 is gonna be half of a 12. We'll see how that works out. I just remembered I marked all the middle nail row for hand nailing for appearance, and I forgot to nail them off, so I'm gonna run do that. Easier without this purling in here. But it's only gonna get harder. It's time lapse at. one must have a smaller tank than my other one. It's 25 gallons. That's okay, it's full now. All right, it's getting hot already. The sun's got some bite to it, but it's supposed to be a little cooler today than yesterday, but it's still kind of saturated from yesterday. I'm gonna cut some of the shorts here that I measured yesterday and start putting pine on that upper roof. It's not gonna rain for quite a while. I think there's nothing in the forecast, so I can start it and not have any worry about leaving it open for a little bit. So we'll get into that. This side will be all about setting up the system, the best way to get it on the roof up there. So I don't have the crane. I don't think it would really help me much. So we'll work off the forklift and, you know, work up and down the roof. So, okay, I'm gonna cut some wood here. All right, I've got this other phone up here, kind of slave to time lapse today. It's a phone usually it's associated with the drone, so I don't use it a lot to film with, but I want to use my other two cameras for action shots today. So we're gonna try it from here, see how it works. I can't remember the quality on this one, but we'll find out. All right, I haven't set my system up yet here. I'm just getting a few boards on, sort of make a beachhead, decide how I want to do it, if I want to kind of attack it from partially down below, or with another little project I'm thinking is going to make it easy. But I'll start by getting a few boards on. Okay, I am gonna pull some wood up here and build a little roof ladder to run across this roof to sheet the roof. It's probably gonna take about, I don't know, 20-25 minutes. I cut some parts downstairs for it, but it'll get used, I think, 4 times. The roof's deep enough. It's not really, with the horizontal nature of the sheeting and the decking or whatever, it's not conducive to standard toe board since I have to work up and down across the roof. So I'll use it for the tongue and groove on each side, and I'll also use it to traverse the roof doing the OSB as well. So I'm going to build part of it here, and then part of it I'll slide it up and then finish it off up there just so it's not so heavy. If I had the crane going, I would, well, I wonder if I could. I wonder if I get a rotation on that. Sure, make it a lot simpler. I'll just keep going. But anyway, I just build it on the ground and pick it up and set it up there. And then once it's up there, I can kind of drag it along. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do.
All right, this is the hook for over the top. It's screwed both directions with 4-inch Simpson screws. So the weak spot in this is the shear or relish of this coming off. So I'm just going to reinforce it this way with a couple of screws, at least 2 from one direction, 1 from the other. But that should give it, a little bit more strength, especially if I drop it when I'm moving it. Even if it does crack the board, it's not going to go anywhere. All right, I think this phone's getting too hot to film or something. I don't know what's up, but it's kind of sticky, slimy hot out here right now. All right, I got the roof ladder built. It was supposed to be on time lapse, but I think it shut itself off. Might have been the watch, no idea. I got it positioned. I'm gonna go start pulling it up to the top. We'll see how far I get. I may have to reposition a couple times. And we'll slide it up that decking and it should come off about the same time. Just like that. Hey, yeah. There we go. There's all the fuss about it. Only thing is, I think it's a bonus though. I've got a few of the screws sticking out the bottom and they're providing unwanted traction right now, but I think it's going to end up being wanted traction. All right, I'm gonna run downstairs for a minute. I think I am gonna put on one more stair, one more step, so I gotta cut a couple pieces. And then I need a handle a couple feet down. I think I have one in the truck. The full length pieces, I'm just running wild because I'll snap a line top and bottom and trim them. I still think it's gonna be quicker than setting up and cutting different sizes on the pallet, just because it's more to keep track of that way. So the bottom will be easy. The top won't be great, but it won't be awful. Plus it's only like 2-inch pieces up there. So I'm not gonna do it as I go. But anyway, I'll get it done. This side will be easy because I can trim it from the other side. So I still need a handle to pull it up over that next step, that 2 inches, just to pull it over to the next bay. And then since on this one I am starting in the middle and going both directions, I'll have to then drag the whole thing back over to the other end. It may not be so bad. I might just put like a runner down on the roof and run it that way, or may have the crane fixed, or run the crane around and just pick it one time and run it straight out using the crane for force. Anyway, talking too much, gotta get back to work.
All right, I think we're set. I think I solved all the little problems. There were some screws sticking out the bottom that was making it harder than it needed to be to move it. It's moving along the roof well now. I've got the pattern worked out of what order I got to move what in and which boards I got to put on when I do move. And I think it's going to go good. I think we're through it. The only hurdle now is the heat. My cameras keep shutting off and on. It's super still here. It's hot. Probably in the 90s, but you know, it's been cooler, so it's pretty humid here. Everything's just kind of, all the moisture is coming back out and it's making it a little tough. I am gonna go retrieve that camera up there. I don't even know if it's still on, but we'll grab that. We'll have some lunch, which is today mostly water because I've lost it all. And then we'll get back after it and see. I am not using the harness yet. I don't feel uncomfortable here. I tried to simulate, you know, what I think could go wrong with this system. You know, I kicked it around, I moved it. I'm pretty unconcerned about what I got going here as I'm using it. When I get closer to the edge over here and when I start hanging barges, I for sure am gonna use a harness, mostly because I don't know, I think it's, the term is run out when, you know, you're past your last point of protection, which for me in this case is, you know, several fold. If I slip, fall, pull myself off, I've got quite a few things to tumble through and grab and, you know, right my wrong, I guess. But when it's all slick and done, you're just kind of out there in no man's land. So at that point, I'll have a way to move around, but also have a way to catch myself if I move around wrong. All right, let's eat lunch. Okay, still rolling here. I don't know if that other camera's on or died from the heat or battery or what. I charged it up at lunch. Took a little break there, worked for a little while after lunch. Got really hot, so I went and had a drink of water, reading school. I don't know, got 10 more boards on or something. Just working my way across here, looking for the finish line today. This would be a much better cool weather job, but we'll stay after it for a little while. Okay, still Monday here. Just after lunch, I finished sheeting that side. I was going to go hang the barge next, but I got a phone call from a good friend of mine. He helped me. We're continuing on. I had called him before and asked him for ideas because he's a super smart motor controls guy, plant electrician, just all around lifelong learner guy. And he took what I had to say and asked a few more questions and found a hole, or at least a missing step in my troubleshooting on this. And so what I've done is I took this switch out and assigned the function that's not working both directions to a side of the switch that I know works in both directions, and which I thought would have been covered by replacing, you know, other cards into that same function, but somehow something's not getting out. And so at that point, let me turn you around here. So what I did was, I had this joystick is trolley out, trolley in, and then swing right, swing left. And I just turned the switch in there so that the wires reached. I took the plug from the swing left and right, and it was the right side that did not work. And I plugged it in to the side that was trolley in, trolley out. And so if I go that way, I have now working the function that did not work before. And then if I go back the other way, I get the function that always worked. So now I have both functions. So everything is going through, but apparently there's one side of the switch is broken internally. So I'm going to investigate that real quick, and if I can figure out a way to swap this switch or this switch that's broken one direction out of 4 into this side that only needs forward and back, then I'm good and I'm back on the road. If not, I think it's going to be easier to get one of these switch pods than it is to get a whole card. So anyway, I'm back on this for a minute. Okay, so let's see. That's the side I know worked. This is the side it was on. Left, right. We know that doesn't work. If I put that, so this side here is only forward and back, so it's only rubbing on that side, to which this switch could go in there. So this is the non-working side. We could put that there and catch that one this way. We could take this block out and put it in there. That would work. Okay, now the question is will this switch go to the other side to catch both functions? I think we might get lucky. That comes off of there. We know it's not the board. So I should be able to, we should be able to put that in and have that work, because it's left, yeah, up and down. Okay, so we'll just plug that in there so we don't lose our place. Okay, it's just a little cup with a slot in it. So if that's the case, we want this wiping function to be that way, we want the orientation arrow to be that way. Okay, now, so nothing left and right, only forward and back. Okay, let's get that in there. So I need to assign this one to here. Those go in. Again, confidence is high. In case you're wondering about the function of these zip ties, is these plugs are kind of loose, and this keeps it from jarring itself up. Cross your fingers. Winch down. Winch up. That was the switch that we took out of the left side and put in the right side with the new block out in it, not using the side that didn't work over here. So then This one, the function we had before was trolley out. We got trolley out. We got trolley in. The function we did have was pivot left. We have pivot left. The moment of truth would be now, which would be pivot right. Stop, the brakes on, and our crane works.
Hey. Super. Let's go back to work.